All right, so today we're going to be going over order of operations, and we typically see this written as PEMDAS, and we have those letters in a certain order to represent what we need to do and whenever we run into expressions like this. The first one is P parentheses. Those are the three ways that they can look, and it is where you work on what's on the inside using PEMDAS. So you start with your parentheses first and do that math. Second is the exponent. So this is where you have the smaller number behind a base, and you are going to follow the exponent's rules. Remember, with exponents, it means you're multiplying the base that many times, not that you're multiplying the two numbers together. MD stands for multiplication and division. So you're going to work all multiplication and division from left to right. So multiplication and division are interchangeable, but it is from left to right. And then last but not least is adding and subtracting. So addition and subtraction, work them from left to right also. It's not about adding comes first because it was written first. You would do whatever came first going from left to right. Let's go ahead and take a look at this example down here. Now, this is a more complex example, but I wanted to give you the full scope of what this would look like. So again, we're going to be we're going to be doing this using PEMDAS, so PEMDAS. So P stands for parentheses. So I see a parenthesis here, but that's actually just holding that negative together. But I do see a parenthesis here that has actual math in it, two numbers and some sort of operation to do. So that's what we're going to do first. So it says to make sure you box in or underline the step you're doing and to bring down the rest of the problem exactly how it is. So I'm going to do -3 in the parentheses, 5, start my parenthesis, and then I'm going to do the math that's inside here. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. Close my parentheses and put my exponent back. -3. So we're going to recopy every single time what we're doing after each step. So we did the parentheses. Now I need to look to see if I have any exponents. And I do. I have 3 to the third power right here. So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to go ahead and recopy down everything I haven't touched yet. And I'm going to keep this in parentheses. 3 to the third power. I'm actually going to expand it inside my parentheses and work through that first. 3 to the third means I'm timesing 3 by itself 3 times. I'm copying down the rest, so -3. And I'm going to go ahead and solve this little piece right here. So 3 times 3 is 9. Bring down my next one. 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm going to recopy everything else. So -3, +5, -3. One thing I want you to be really careful of is to make sure you do not forget anything. That's why it's very, very, very important to copy everything down every single time. So now that I've finished my exponents, I'm going to move on to multiplying and dividing from left to right. So multiplying and dividing, I have 2 versions of it. So I have this right here is all multiplication. The reason I know it's multiplication is because they're technically touching, and it's an invisible multiplication sign. So I'm going to start with the one further to the left. So I'm going to do -3 times 5. I know that a negative times a positive gives me a negative, and 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to go ahead and copy down everything else just like it is, and then we're going to move on to the next piece. So now we still have multiplication right here with the -15 times 27. So I know that a negative times a positive is going to give me a negative number. So I need to multiply the two numbers together. 27 times 15. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3 is 13. Drop down, add a 0. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. Add it together. 5, 7 plus 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0, carry the 1, and 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. So that gives me -405. This is not my answer because I still have one more piece over here that I've forgotten. So -3. We have completed all of our multiplying and dividing, and all that is left is to add and subtract from left to right. Luckily, there's only one. So we're going to do -405 minus -3. So if you remember, when we have a minus a negative, that actually means that we need to stay, flip, flip, and then we can take it to battle. So I'm going to leave stay, so negative 405, flip to a positive, and flip to a positive. So that would be the same as negative 405 plus 3. It has the same value. So if I was going to take this into battle, I would have negative versus positive armies. I know my negative army would win. So I would take into account for the 3 soldiers that would be lost from my negative army. So I would subtract the 3, and that would leave me with 402 negative. So we are going to see negatives. We are going to see positives with multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting. So I want us to keep that in our brain on how to solve through that. The big thing with this is underline where you're going, follow the order of operations, and make sure you bring down everything in the rest of the problem.